Hello, I'm Pat Mape, Superintendent of Perry Township Schools. It is with great pleasure that I welcome everyone back for the 2021-2022 school year. This year, we have over 65 new teachers coming into Perry Township Schools to serve our kids. Welcome. As we head down this year, we hope to get back to normal. One of those things will be that we will continue to have protocols for COVID in place. We are a mask-optional school district. We all know we have a learning gap that's happened because of the lack of days of instruction last year in person. I want everyone to understand that we are not going to be able to catch our students up in the first week, the first month, the first semester, and actually for some of our students, not this school year. But we have to make certain to be intentional with our instruction that we have. John Wooden used to say, "Be quick, but don't hurry." We have to do the same things in our classroom. We have to make certain we continue to grow our students in language arts and mathematics skills so they can perform where we want them to at the grade level. But as we know, we serve a very diverse group of students, and it's very important for us to figure out where they're at and then move them forward. So once again, I can't stress enough, we can't get stressed about getting our kids caught up immediately. It will be a process. I would thank everyone who participated in our summer school. The 15 extra days that we had with our students was fantastic. This school year, once again, we'll have intersession in the fall and spring, and then look also to have another robust summer school this school year. It's very important as we go through this school year, just like last, that we remain flexible. If our COVID cases increase, then we'll have to change our protocols. And we'll communicate that with all employees, parents, and students to keep you up to date. As always, academics are important, but the first thing is the safety of our students and staff in Perry Township Schools. I look forward to seeing everyone this school year, and let's have a great start.
On behalf of the Perry Township School Board, I want to welcome each of you to the 2021-2022 school year. With all the unknowns we faced this time last year, I hope you share my excitement as we get back to more traditional opportunities that lie ahead this year. If you're new to our team, we're glad you've joined us. I'm confident from day one you will see that "We Grow Kids" is more than a clever catchphrase or a nice slogan on a t-shirt. To empower students to grow academically, socially, and behaviorally is a team effort like no other, and I'm confident that someone along the way, a building principal, an interview committee, a department supervisor, could tell that you would be a valuable asset in this most important work in our district. If you're returning to Perry Township, whether for year 2 or year 32, I want to thank you. The business of education is a taxing one, even in the most comfortable of times. In light of some of the most trying times the world has experienced in at least a generation, what you all prepped for, implemented, modified, and mastered last school year is nothing short of miraculous. Speaking for the board, what was probably most impressive was that this was a true top-down team effort. From the first bus route to the last Google Meet, from the first meal served to the last room cleaned and sanitized, Perry Township employees were all in, and we can't thank you enough. As we start a new school year emboldened by what we've learned and overcome, I want to share one of my favorite sentiments. In his autobiography, then former President Theodore Roosevelt shared, "There is this bit of homely philosophy which sums up one's duty in life. Do what you can with what you've got where you are." So as we begin a new school year, I would encourage you to do what you can for the adults and kids in your sphere of influence with what you've got, which you all proved last year is amazing stuff. Where you are, which in my mind is one of the best school systems in the country. Thank you, and I wish you all the best on the upcoming school year.
Hello to all of you and welcome back to our new school year. My name is Alison Scott and I am honored, humbled, and completely shocked to be addressing you today as Perry Township's Teacher of the Year. I've sort of been waiting for Ashton Kutcher to show up to tell me I've been punked, but he hasn't shown up yet, so here I am. Before I go any further, I will give a quick introduction so you'll have a better feel for this person who's holding you captive. I began teaching in Perry Township 17 years ago. I think I was about 12 or 13 at the time. Anyway, I started as a half-day kindergarten teacher, half-day reading recovery teacher at Southport Elementary School. I stayed in that role for 7 years and I loved every minute. I remember Nan Murphy saying to me before I began classes that I would never teach the same again, and she was 100% correct. So I will forever be grateful for that program and the training that I received. But after 7 years in that role, our building was changing and so were the needs of our students. And so I bid a fond farewell to Reading Recovery and Room 9 and became a full-day kindergarten teacher for the next 6 years. During that time, Perry Township continued to grow and change, and the decision was made to build 4 kindergarten academies. And so, 4 years ago, after 13 years at Southport Elementary School, I arrived here at Homecroft Kindergarten Academy, where I continue to work full-time in the classroom, and new for me this year, I will be working in a mentor teacher role. And now, here I am addressing each and every one of you and still thinking to myself, how in the world did this happen to me? Well, one thing I know for sure, I did not get here by myself. There have been many people, family, friends, peers, and colleagues who have loved me, inspired me, and pushed me along the way. I will forever be in their debt. First, I would like to thank my family, my dad, my mom, my sister, for their unconditional love, support, guidance, and encouragement every day of my life. I would also like to thank my grandparents, who instilled in me a love for education and also instilled in me the importance of never taking the opportunity for education for granted. And I would also like to thank each and every one of you, my friends, my teammates past and present, my peers, colleagues, and administrators, everyone who is part of our Perry Township family. During this past year, and what a year it was, we have all encountered situations that none of us could have dreamed up in our worst nightmares. But we did not let those obstacles overcome us. Instead, we looked upon them as opportunities to learn and grow in new ways. Look around you today at all the people that you are blessed to work with every day, and think about how those people are blessed to work with you. I look around and think about the hours and hours that were spent to make sure that our buses, classrooms, and schools were safe and clean. The daily time and effort that was spent preparing the food that was served to our students and staff. The hours spent on planning protocols and scenarios that had to be thought through, established, and then scrapped, and then thought through again in order to ensure student and staff safety. Not to mention the obscene amount of time that went into planning daily lessons that were relevant and meaningful for our students, whether they were live, hybrid, or virtual. All of this with a mask on and 6 feet apart. And why did we do all this? Because we grow kids. That's who we are, and that's what we do every day. And not even a global pandemic is going to keep us from our mission. So to all of you, I say, well done. As I thought about this speech this summer, I kept thinking, what am I going to say? And do I have anything to say that's really worth listening to? My friend Kim said to me, I can't wait to hear your speech. And my response was, yeah, me too. So as I kept thinking, I decided to catch up on some light reading. Translation, a stack of People magazines about this tall. When I started reading, J-Rod was still alive and going strong. By the time I got to the bottom of the stack, J-Rod was over and it was hello to Benifer. Again? However, by the time I got to the bottom of that stack, I actually had the start of an idea. As I was catching up on my pop culture, I started noticing that in every magazine, they would have an interview with some famous person, and the topic was always what I know now. At first I thought, that's a really bold and confident statement to make. But it did get me thinking, what do I know now? Well, I know how to tie my shoes, I know how to drive a stick shift, and I know it's a really bad idea to try and do your gymnastics beam routine on a guardrail. That story did not end well. As I continued thinking about this topic, I started to think about it in a different way. I asked myself, what do you know now about education and teaching? What would I say to someone if they asked me that question? Shockingly, I couldn't really think of a clear and concise answer right off the top of my head. Now, how can that be? I've graduated from high school, college, grad school. I have attended more in-services, conferences, and professional development sessions than I can count. How is it that I cannot think of how to answer that question? So I decided to ask some of the smartest people I know, my friends and colleagues. Their responses were amazing. They ranged from practical to surprising, and from hilarious to heartbreaking. And even though their responses were all different, one thing was the same. They all asked if they could have some time to think about it, just like me. So now it's your turn. How would you answer the question? What do you know now about education and teaching? I'll give you some time to think about it. Okay, I'm sure that all of you had some amazing thoughts and ideas, and I wish that I could hear everything that you had to say. Maybe you could start a list of some of the things that you thought about today. It might be fun and interesting to see how that list changes as your career continues. Today, I'm going to share with you my top 3 things that I know now about education and teaching. This is how the list currently stands today, July 22nd, 2021. So without further ado, here is what I know now. Number 1, now I know relationships matter. Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. During this past school year, it was never more evident that strong relationships are vital to student, teacher, and school success. As my now retired assistant Sherry said to me, kids have got to know that you are in their corner. As teachers, I feel that we are all hyper aware of the importance of building the student-teacher relationship. YouTube is filled with videos of teachers welcoming their students with personalized greetings and going through daily self-affirmation routines. But YouTube does not have many videos showing daily routines, building relationships with school staff members. I have learned the relationships that we build with our colleagues and peers are just as important as those that we are building with our students. I began my career in a different school system. I was a brand new teacher teaching half-day kindergarten in 2 buildings, struggling along trying to figure it all out. This experience on paper should have been perfect, but as we know, nothing in life is ever perfect. I found myself in an environment where there was little to no camaraderie and very little support. In a review with one of my principals, I was told, and I quote, "The only reason people like you is because you're cute, but you're just not good enough." I'll let you think about how harmful those words were. Even now, every once in a while, they'll pop back up in my mind just as a cruel reminder of how damaging words can be. That experience, though excruciatingly painful, was the catalyst for changing my life. My mom always told my sister and I that even though we might not be able to control the situation, we can always control how we respond. So I responded to that situation by attending an open reading recovery meeting at Glens Valley Elementary School, where I met Mr. Max Oldham. That led me to apply to Perry Township Schools, which led me to Southport Elementary School, where I met Mrs. Roberta Hannon, who is one of the main reasons I am still teaching today. Mrs. Hannon did what hadn't been done before, and that was she took the time to build a relationship with me and every other staff member working for her. She was interested not only in you as a teacher, but as a person. She asked questions about you and your family, and she took the time to get to know you. She made me feel like I was needed, appreciated, and like maybe I did have something to offer. In my first review with her, she said to me, "I don't know what brought you exactly to Perry Township and why your last school was willing to let you go, but I would have thrown myself in front of the bus to keep you." Her willingness to build a relationship with me showed me what it was like to truly be part of a team. I never miss an opportunity to tell her how much I appreciate her and what she means to me, and I try every day to emulate her by finding ways to build positive relationships with the people around me. I encourage you to find ways to build those relationships within your own team or building. Smile, be kind, be interested, ask questions, be present. Or you can always force your team to participate in silly spirit days like I did. You never know what your kind words or actions can do for someone. It could, as in my case, change their whole outlook. Number 2, now I know. Have a plan. Okay, I'm going to put my kindergarten hat on for just a moment. I know as a kindergarten teacher, I have to have a plan. Am I right, kindergarten teachers? I'm not talking just about our daily lesson plans, although there are a lot of those and they are important. Of course, we need plans for the 2 to 3 differentiated math lessons that we teach daily, plus the activities we have to plan for our assistants' math groups. There is also our daily writing lesson and phonics lessons and phonemic awareness lessons. There are also daily word work lessons to plan along with differentiated activities for intervention groups. Not to mention our reading comprehension lessons, our daily leveled book clubs, plus our assistants' daily leveled book clubs. And then, of course, there are all the other independent literacy station activities that our students are working on. Differentiated, of course. Like I said, there is a lot of planning in kindergarten, but that's the easy stuff. What I have learned is we have to have a plan for everything else. For example, what's the plan for how the students enter the room in the morning? Where do they put their lunchbox? Where do they put their folder? When and how do they make their lunch choice? We eat breakfast in our rooms, so that is a whole other plan that has to be thought through. And what is the plan for when someone vomits all over the breakfast table? Because it happens. How about the plan when you're at recess and you're by yourself and one of your little friends has to potty? And because going to the potty is contagious, soon you have 5 friends that need to potty. You have to have a plan. Or what's the plan when your assistant principal shows up at your classroom door first thing in the morning with one of your students who is hysterically crying because they got into trouble on the bus? The plan that day involved the 3 of us sitting in the hallway, practicing our deep breathing. See, 5-year-olds don't really care about your plans. They're 5. They only care about their plans. The trick I have found is to get them to believe that your plan is their plan. My sister calls this manipulation. I call it survival. Number 3, now I know. It's okay not to know. This one has taken me a long time to recognize, and to be honest, I am still working on it. I think teachers as a whole are perfectionists by nature. I mean, it's sort of implied in the job title, educator. As an educator, our job is to teach our students what we know about a topic and to give them the tools they need to be successful, independent, lifelong learners. Our students and their families look to us as the experts, and they put their faith and trust in us that we know what we're doing. And we do. But there are going to be times when you just don't know. Like when a student refuses to join the group and hides under the table instead, and you just don't know how to get them out. Or when one of your students is still struggling to write their name on the last day of school, and you just don't know what else to try. Or when CPS comes one day and takes away one of your students, and you don't know if you will ever see them again. These types of situations and many, many more arise daily in every classroom across Perry Township, across our state, and across our country. Being an educator means that we are in the business of children, and the last time I checked, they don't come with instruction manuals. It's okay not to know how to solve every single situation that arises. As my principal says, give yourself some grace. That's why we have teams. That is why we have friends and colleagues and administrators that we can turn to and talk to and lean on, and who can help us out along the way. As Larry Bell said, even on your worst day on the job, you are still some child's best hope. So maybe our kids don't need us to have all the answers. Maybe our kids just need us to love and care for them. Maybe they need us to sit under the table with them for a while. Or maybe they need us to model how to write their name for them just one more time. Or maybe they need us to slip a class composite picture with a hastily scribbled note into their backpack before they leave with their caseworker. And we have to be okay with not knowing and just hoping that what we did was enough. So those are my top 3 of what I know now. I'm sure my list will continue to grow and change as the years continue. That's the exciting and fun part of education. We get to learn and grow just as our students are learning and growing. Oh, and I almost forgot. There were a few more things some of my kindergarten colleagues have learned that I wanted to share with you. Number 1, all pencils are not created equal. Yes, we really do use all those glue sticks. And number 3, if you see a student sitting in the grass at recess, playing with something that looks like brown Play-Doh, it probably isn't. Yes, that's a true story, and yes, Susan, you and I need to have a talk. As I wrap this up today, I want to thank each and every one of you again for all that you do day in and day out to support the students and families of Perry Township. It truly is an honor to be surrounded by such amazing people who are at the top of their game. I pray that this will be a wonderful, safe, and blessed school year for all of us. As the Irish blessing says, may your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness comes through your door. May that be true for all of us. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and stay safe.